forsaking our fears, laughing through the chaos and drinking some beers. So here's to the laughs, the groans and the cheers, all the awkward moments, and we're still here. Cause in the end we're just doing our thing. It's our crazy life, oh, one more thing. Oh, one more thing. Oh!
Welcome to Oh and One More Thing, a podcast where two longtime friends try to figure out what the heck is going on with this crazy thing called middle age.
It's a mix of stories of how we navigate our lives and maybe some questionable advice.
Some days we're wise, other days we're just trying to remember where the heck we left our phone.
So join us as we laugh, groan, and maybe even learn a little something about surviving in the second half of life. Oh, and one more thing.
Welcome to Oh and One More Thing.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Rob.
How goes the grind today, sir?
The grind's going well. Thanks for asking. Work and life is busy. I drink too much coffee. Maybe eat a donut every now and then.
Donuts.
And trying to improve every day. How about you?
Fine, until my bicycle fell over.
Oh.
Yeah, it was too tired. Hey, Brian, did you ever watch Seinfeld? Are you a fan?
Yeah, as a fan, I didn't really watch the first season, but picked it up after that. That was a great show. Have you ever watched Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld?
I have. That's a fantastic series. It really showcases Jerry's comedic chops.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, Seinfeld has some really classic episodes, some which will live in the zeitgeist indefinitely. Have you seen The Contest, season 4?
I've heard of it. I don't think I saw that particular episode.
Yeah,
I'm kind of sad I missed it.
We need to find that one for you because so if those that don't know this episode's premise, and this is which the main characters compete to see who can go the longest without self-gratification. It's absolutely legendary. What about season 7, the Soup Nazi?
Yes, I've seen that one. Great.
Everybody's seen the Soup Nazi because we all know the no soup for you.
Right.
Yeah. And one of Seinfeld's most classic episodes is called The Strike, and in that is the airing of the grievances.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yep. So that's a hilarious topic of the fictional holiday Festivus. So Festivus was actually a real episode, albeit eccentric holiday, created by the father of Seinfeld, one of the writers, Dan O'Keefe.
Okay.
And Seinfeld turned it into a cultural phenomenon. Do you know what the Festivus traditions are?
No, I don't. Do tell.
Well, the Festivus pole. It's an aluminum pole used in stark contrast to decorate a Christmas tree. It symbolizes a rejection of holiday commercialism.
Oh, all right.
The feats of strength.
Okay, what is that?
It's a wrestling match between the head of household and another participant. Festivus is not considered complete until the head of household is pinned.
Oh, so this could go on a while.
It'll go on a while. Festivus miracles, because what's a holiday without miracles?
Right.
Yeah, easily explainable events that are declared Festivus miracles, adding to the comedic absurdity. And our topic of the day.
What is it?
The airing of the grievances.
Oh.
So that's the key Festivus tradition where participants tell those gathered all the ways they've been disappointed in the past year.
Well.
Yeah, well, there's many. So George's father, Frank Costanza, delivers the classic line, "I got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about it." So that too has become a cultural phenomenon, and lots of people now celebrate Festivus every year.
Well, that's cool.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's explore the pet peeves that make us all want to scream.
Yeah, I got a few.
Yeah, well, we're going to tackle different pet peeves from the mundane to the downright infuriating.
Sounds intense and a little fun at the same time. Is it kind of like when people say absolutely, and for sure too much?
Yes. Are you mocking me?
Maybe a little.
Yeah, well, deservedly so.
Well, where should we start?
Let's start with the basics. How about shopping?
Shopping.
Yeah. How do you normally shop? Do you do it alone, as a couple? What's your MO?
I usually either order online or I go in, get my item, and get out. Okay. I don't really linger or leisure around to shop. My biggest issue is shopping itself.
Okay. You're one of those that does the whole online thing. I got it.
Yep. And the one thing I don't like about when you go into shopping is self-checkouts. Oh, really? My gosh. I hate them.
Really?
Hate them.
Okay.
So especially at a local grocery store called Aldi Groceries, and I'll name them by name because I don't like using their checkout lines. First of all, you go in there and they're not staffed very well.
Correct.
So you wait in the line that has the only checkout person, and then all the other checkout or self-checkout lines are empty. Mm-hmm. They should catch a clue.
Right.
If all the customers are waiting in the one line that has the actual person and no one's in the checkout, self-checkouts, what's the point? We don't need them.
No, and what drives me nuts about them too is they always sit on a chair.
Well, yeah.
And and I get it. Aldi's like a German company, and that's very big in Europe, and I understand. But it's like, really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, if you're going to use the self checkout, then make it worth my while. Give me a discount to do your work,
right?
Or I got to have some reason to why I'm going to have to beg and do all my own groceries.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm a little weird.
No, that's okay. I get that, but I'm also my history. I worked for Target for 17 plus years, and I don't have a problem if I go in to buy 3 things to scan, bag, and go. That doesn't bother me. I'd rather do that than wait in line.
I will go get one item and I'll wait in line.
You'll wait in line
because it's the principle.
It's the principle. I got you.
That I'm not going to go over there and scan my one piece of gum.
Sure.
I don't buy gum.
Yeah.
But and do that.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to offer me that 10% discount, I will do it every day.
Right.
But no.
Okay.
Sorry.
Got off on a little tangent there.
A little bit.
So it's okay. That's why we're here today.
Do you have any other issues with shopping?
I do. The first one, since we're at the checkouts, shopping carts.
What's wrong with shopping carts?
So here's the deal. I appreciate the fact that the stores give us something to load the cart up and spend all of our money on. But when you're done, so you go your little checkout, you got your little shopping cart, you put your bags in your cart, and you go, oh, I only got 2 bags. So I'm going to take my little 2 bags out, and then I'm just going to leave the cart right there at the end of the checkout lane that everybody has to walk into. Even though, as you are leaving the store, you literally walk past where the shopping carts are stored. Can you not be a jerk and think about the rest of the people in the store and get them out of the way?
I'm a jerk.
You're what?
Because I will drop the cart
and
just
bail.
pick up my bags and just walk out
and walk right past the stack of carts that are right there.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I guess I'm privileged.
Yeah. Well. Yes. And in that same ilk, when you go shopping and you go and you're walking through the aisles, you pick up a couple things, you get to the checkout, and I don't want this. Just leave it with the cashier.
Okay, now sometimes yes, but I will usually run it back.
See, I do too. Yeah, and like so, a lot of times we'll be shopping with. I won't mention people that we go shopping with. My wife that will have things in our hands.
Don't say that.
Decide. I would never say that.
No.
And when we get halfway through the store, decide we don't want it, and just set it on a shelf and keep going. And I lose my mind.
Okay, so I have done that.
Okay,
but I try. I think of the workers, and I try to go and put it back.
Yes, I mean, at least if you bring it to the checkout, it puts them in the little return bins, and they disperse. But when they're just randomly around, it drives me bonkers.
So here's another. What I used to. I don't do it anymore.
Okay.
But my wife and I would be shopping and we're goofing off. Mm-hmm. Do you ever squish candy bars and walk away?
I'm going to go with no.
I have.
Okay.
And I think it's kind of funny. But poor person who buys that candy bar, but it has a big thumbprint in it. But
yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. Oh, getting to the store is part of the problem, but really, my biggest issue with the vehicles in stores is this little store called Costco.
Yeah, what's wrong with Costco? I love Costco.
Their parking lot is the 7th level of hell.
No, but they have extra space.
Well,
between the cars, so you can park a truck. In there and not get door dings. I love it.
Yes, I love that too. But the people driving around the parking lot trying to find those large spots. That's what drives me insane. Well, and really, honestly, am I the only one who's figured this out in the infinity of time when you're at Costco? Park next to the darn car corral, which is 35 spaces away from the door, but everybody tries to fight to get those front spots, but then you still got to walk your stupid car all the way to the car corral, or they leave it in the middle of the aisle, which drives me nuts too.
You're really getting uptight about this. I purposely try to drive to the back of the lot and park in the back.
Yeah, good. Yeah, as you should.
That's what I do because I don't want to drive in circles to find the closest spot. Mm-hmm. Take the first one you see. I could have walked in the store by the time I would have parked. Mm-hmm. And that's my philosophy.
Yes, I absolutely.
It's not shared by other people, but
yes, I absolutely agree. Just park far out and walk. Get your steps in for the day.
Yes, steps are good.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the checking of the receipts at Costco?
I understand the point of it, but they're not looking at it.
Oh God, no.
And if you got a lot of stuff in your cart, they're supposed to be looking at the numbers of items and then assuring you've got those things or specific. Some large items you buy, they check to make sure you have that. That makes sense. Or if you bought something that has to be given to you, taxes or what TurboTax or whatever that you have to get that, they check it off. That's fine. Yeah. But if you have a full cart, they're just swipe it and go because it doesn't matter.
When's the last time you were in a Sam's Club?
Oh, years.
Years. So they have this cool new thing now where you walk through these big things that have little cameras.
Okay.
And it scans your cart, so it does like an item count, like it says you're walking through, and the little people at the end on the other side of it, they have a little iPad they look at, and if it says it's okay, they let you walk right through.
So is that because then the barcoding or there's some kind of tag on all the products that the sensor can pick it up? Otherwise, there's no way if a product is buried underneath another one that a camera can see it.
It's AI, man.
But it's got to be a tag of some kind that registers.
This sounds like a great topic for technology.
We'll get onto that.
We should do that sometime. Yeah, it is pretty slick though. Yeah, so parking near the exits. I also like to park far out because of the door dings.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And I always park near the exit of a store. Like when we go to the grocery store, I always park in the exit, so I don't have to look for my car.
Right.
You walk straight out, and you keep walking down the aisle, and there's your vehicle.
Well, I get it. So you have a separate entrance and exit. So
Yeah,
you always park
at the exit.
See, you're learning things today, people. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. So before you even get to the store, you have to drive there, right? So drivers, am I right?
I don't have too much of an issue with going to the store.
Okay.
Because it's actually really close to home.
Right.
So, and since I work from home, that is a sad thing. I know. I really enjoy getting out of the house and opportunity to go to the store because I'm stuck.
Yes.
The only time I have a real issue with drivers is that, well, okay, if I get into a conversation, and you've experienced this, if I'm talking to you and I'm the driver, all of a sudden we're going to be going 45 miles an hour.
Game over,
because
man.
I can't do that multitasking and I can carry on conversation that I'm not driving.
No.
So passengers are good for me or cruise control.
Yeah. I remember one of our trips, we were driving a big not conversion van, the big U-Haul, like the 26-foot U-Haul.
Yeah.
And we got sidetracked on a conversation, and I swear to God, we
You
looked
were
down.
so annoyed.
I was so annoyed. Like 55 miles an hour, 2-lane road, cars can't pass you, and there's Brian going 35.
Yeah, because I was talking.
Because you're talking.
But what I was going to say was that if I'm late or in a hurry to get somewhere and you're stuck behind a slow driver, that drives me insane.
Driving me nuts. Yeah. Of course,
But that's the only time, really.
Yeah. This would be an entire podcast all on its own, basically just drivers. Other than slow drivers, do you have any other pet peeves?
No, not really. I think as I'm entering the second half of life, I really try hard to become a little bit more relaxed and go with the flow. But it seems like you might have a few issues.
Oh, do I have issues? Yeah, I do lots of highway driving. So I live about 40 minutes away from work, and I have to take the dreaded 494 Bloomington Strip to work every day.
Yeah.
I have lots of driving pet peeves. People who don't use turn signals. You know, the type where they just kind of veer into your lane without a care in the world, leaving you to slam on your brakes to avoid a collision.
Huh.
Happens every day.
It's probably me.
Yeah, probably. Could be. Are you a left lane lurker?
Maybe.
Yeah. Those who get in that left lane and they're Mr. Speed Limits. I'm not going to go over 65.
Oh,
That's
no.
what the sign says. Oh,
I don't actually. I think speed limit signs are a suggestion.
well, they're definitely a suggestion. And in my world, the left lane is made for speeding.
Yeah.
So-
and I do my fair share. So
Yeah. So get the hell out of the way. People who U-turn in the middle of the road.
only if I have to.
Okay, why do you have to U-turn in the middle of the road? Why can you not go one block further, take that left turn, and go to somebody's driveway or a
because-
parking lot or whatever?
I forgot my phone. And you can't get anywhere if you don't have your phone.
Okay, sure. Construction.
Oh, come on now. We live in Minnesota where there's only 2 seasons, winter and road construction. It's part of life.
Yeah, all right, I'll give you that one. Merging.
Yeah, I do that. I zipper merge. I like that.
Zipper merge is good. What about the off-ramp people?
Oh, okay. Here's what I do. Okay, this is what I do, and I love it. So I'm coming up to an off ramp. I'm looking for cars beyond, right? And I'm picking my car.
Okay.
And I'm going to speed up to their speed, and I'm going to go zipper right in between them because I've already chosen the car that I'm going to match up with, and I'm gaining speed on my off ramp to merge into traffic.
So wait, let me back up a second. So you take the ramp as it's designed to gain speed to match the speed of the traffic you're trying to merge
Yeah.
on the highway with.
Yep.
Nobody does that anymore.
So if I'm taking driving on 94, I mean, I'll be looking behind me. That's the car I'm going to match,
See-
and I'm punching it down the the on ramp.
Good. That makes up for your slow, distracted driving.
Thank you. I try. I got to do something right.
I think it's a fair trade-off. Yeah, when you're buzzing down, again, 494, 60 miles an hour, rush hour traffic, and people, they're going 40 miles an hour thinking that they're just going to pop right into traffic.
Well, I used to be the guy who would like go real slow and wait. Oh,
you can't
wait.
Yeah,
and you learn the fact that you can't do it.
Can't do that.
You'll never get in.
Because that's what starts all the backups on 494.
Right.
They let the one person in, then that starts the brake lights, and then you have a chain of brake lights that just perpetuates and goes on forever.
You've got to punch it.
Got to punch it.
That was a learned experience.
What about roundabouts?
I kind of like roundabouts.
I do too.
Yeah. Actually, have you ever just driven around them in a circle? I did.
I've been known to do that.
Yeah. But I think they really do move traffic well.
They move traffic well, and the intent of them is to cut down on accidents. And in town here, we used to have a four-way stop. You probably know what I'm talking about, on 284 and County Road 10, right? It was horrible. There were always accidents. And they put in a roundabout, and God, people complained and moaned, and they hated it.
But there are no more
I
accidents.
don't think I've ever seen an accident since that thing's been there for like 7 years.
What I don't like about roundabouts is if someone's in the roundabout and you're approaching the other side or whatever, and the person just zips right in front of you.
Yes.
And there's no space for a car.
Yes.
That's the part that's difficult because they're not paying attention. They think maybe you're further back.
Yeah.
But that's the hard part.
Yeah. The part that I hate the worst is when people in the roundabout slow down or want to like let somebody waiting, they wave them in. Like, no, it's not designed to do that. You're messing it all up.
Yeah.
Get the hell off the road. What about running red lights or stop signs?
Well, I'm pretty good. I try not to do that. If I would run a red light, it would be totally by accident.
I don't run red lights. I run a lot of orange lights.
Orange lights?
Well,
I thought they were red, yellow, and green.
They're yellow and they're leading red, but they're not really fully red. So you're kind of in the intersection already.
When you see a yellow light, that just means step on it.
As green means go, yellow means go faster.
Go faster, right? Exactly. That's what I do.
That's what I was taught. All right, and finally, I got one more for driving. Distracted driving.
Explain. What do you mean by distracted driving? Like I'm looking for my phone.
Sure.
I'm looking for a piece of gum.
Many states, including the state of Minnesota, has a hands-free cell phone law.
Oh, yeah.
So the people that have the phone in their hand, or they're I've seen people watching TikTok videos as they're driving, or doing TikTok videos as they're driving.
Okay. Well, I don't do that.
Like, what are you doing? Clearly, we're middle-aged and we don't do any of the stuff because we know better. It's the younger generation. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it.
You're sticking to it?
Sticking to it.
Wow, Rob, that's a lot to unpack. Oof, I'm probably some of the problems aren't there that you've experienced.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you are. I should probably just stay off the road since I'm the perfect driver and everyone else sucks.
You are the perfect driver.
But in my defense,
oh come on.
So I do have some back into this. I do have a motorcycle endorsement from a past younger life, and I do drive a school bus in my free time in the winter. So I have been trained how to drive defensively. I've driven very small vehicles. I've driven very large vehicles. It's literally a matter of life and death in both of those cases. And I honestly do wish everyone had those experiences. I think it would alter people's driving habits somewhat.
Yeah, it would. As I'm getting older and my hearing and eyesight isn't necessarily the best, so I can't hear the car horn, I can't see the finger flying, so I'm good.
Okay.
But maybe I should get a little bumper sticker that says, caution, hearing and seeing impaired.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
I heard that. Anyway, how are you with noises?
Okay, like
the sound of chewing gum. Or chewing
in general. I don't mind it too much unless you've got the wide open going on. That's a little too much for me.
Yeah, it can get annoying, but hey, you're trying to take in nutrition.
Or if you're eating a really crunchy food with your mouth open, that's kind of.
I kind of do that.
You're one of those. Okay,
I like crunching a good chip, and I want to hear the crunch.
Okay,
my wife hates it. How about people talking in the movie theaters?
Well, apparently lately, unless you're going to see the sing-along version of Wicked, I am not a big fan of it.
Oh.
And the talking's annoying, but I think what annoys me more is people who are on their phones the whole time, or they got to check their text, or they get a phone call and didn't put their phone on silence. I think that's more annoying.
Yeah. It doesn't really bother me because I don't think I can hear them.
Yeah, I really, though, since the pandemic, I probably count to one hand how many times I've been in a theater, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that, yeah.
How about nails on the chalkboard?
That doesn't bother me too much.
No, I used to do it.
Okay.
I'd scratch the board just to drive people crazy.
So every day at work, I have a little yogurt cup I eat.
Yeah.
And at the end, you got to scrape it to get all the good stuff out. And it drives one of my coworkers absolutely nuts. I mean, she literally runs out of the room every day. It's like, "You got your yogurt cup." I'm like, "Yeah, I sure do." Scrape, 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 scrape.
How about sleeping? Do you have to do quiet? Do you need white noise? Do you have to hear something? What works?
Yeah. So what's funny is years ago, it had to be like deadly silent. Like if I heard any sort of peep, like I was awake and it just drove me nuts. But now we have one of those beds that have the little heating cooling pads underneath. So there's a fan that runs all night. So constant white noise. Now I can't sleep without white noise.
Really?
Yeah. So like even if we go travel, we have a little sound machine we bring with us, and it's just like,
See, I don't think I'd like that.
really.
However, I hear that in my ears regularly.
Okay.
Because of the ringing in my ears.
Okay.
Sadly, that's a sign of getting older.
You have ringing in your ears.
Yeah, it's
Really?
not
Like constant, like the
constant.
like all the time.
It's all the time.
Really?
There's no cure for it.
Okay.
It's called tinnitus.
Tinnitus.
Yeah, and it's just what it is. You got to live with it.
Really?
Or you use those white noise machines, and I just don't like them.
Okay.
Because like you, when I was younger, slept super light.
Yeah.
Everything would wake me up.
Yeah.
My wife turning would wake me up. You know,
Yeah.
things like that. Now, not so much. Now
No.
I'm just like, she punches me in the arm when I'm snoring.
And that's what wakes you up.
And that, well, yeah, I do. Sometimes, not always now. Sometimes I do wake up.
Yeah. Okay.
How about crying babies?
Well, we have a brand new grandbaby in our world.
You do.
We
so
do.
cute.
Little baby Blake. Baby Blake has yet to spend the night, though, but that's coming up shortly in a few weeks.
Cool.
The wife's on a shopping spree. We bought a pack and play. We bought a booster seat. A stroller showed up at our door today.
Nice.
So we're in baby buy mode. But you know what's funny about that is I'd say by anywhere from 5 to 10 years ago, we had all that crap around this house.
Yeah, but you couldn't use it.
Oh, no, we couldn't use it. It's taking up space. And, we're going to have grandkids someday. But no, that's a long time away.
Yeah, you can't use it, though. It's out of date.
Well, you can use a stroller or a pack and play.
Come on, everything expires.
Oh, good Lord. It is true. That is true. It's a scam. So I have a few more that are like, what the heck is this all about? And I guess they're not really pet peeves so much, but things I've always kind of like, what the heck? Like, what does that mean?
Okay, what the heck? Let's go.
Okay, all right. So let's start with the first one. The number 2 pencil. You're an artist. Why is the number 2 the most popular? And why is it still number 2? Why is it not number 1?
Okay, so I kind of know things.
Okay.
And yes, I do have a creative background.
Okay.
So let me tell you.
Okay.
The number 2 designation on a pencil refers to the hardness and the darkness of the graphite.
Really?
So it's not ranking in popularity like you think.
Okay.
But since I'm an artist, here's the breakdown.
Okay.
Pencils are graded based on the hardness of their graphite core.
Okay.
It affects how dark they leave a mark. The number 2 represents a mid-range hardness, providing a balance between darkness and durability.
Okay.
Softer pencils like number 1 leave a darker mark, and they smudge easy. Harder pencils like number 3, 4, 5, and 6 leave a much lighter mark and are less prone to smudging.
Okay.
The higher the number, the harder the lead, and the lighter the mark is.
Okay.
And see, I told you I knew pencils.
Interesting. So why they always, when you take those little computer tests in school, and again, I may be dating myself, they may not use them anymore. They may just use an iPad. But is that why you always had to use the number 2? Like they're adamant you had to have a number 2.
Because it left a dark enough mark for the reader to see it and it didn't smudge.
And didn't smudge. Interesting. Hey, this is Rob. I wanted to take a moment to talk about Spring Green. I've been using them since 2007. They provide fertilizer, weed control, lawn insect control, and core aeration services for my lawn. They also spray for mosquitoes, which is huge in Minnesota, and new later this year, liquid aerations and home pest control. They're a locally owned and operated company, super easy to get a hold of and work with. They'll give you the attention and service that you deserve. Visit their website at spring-green.com for a price quote specific to your property and to sign up for service. You can even register for autopay or prepay to save a little bit of cash right there on the website, or shoot them a message with any questions. That's spring-green.com, spring-green.com. Okay, so great answer on the pencils, but another one for you. Why do we drive on parkways and park on driveways?
I have actually pondered this many times, so I looked it up. A parkway refers to a broad landscaped road that usually went through a park. It was intended for a scenic drive, often by horse-drawn carriage. So The park part of the word refers to the park itself, and the way is the way through it.
Okay.
As cars became common, these scenic routes naturally became roads for automobiles, and the name stuck.
Okay, so why driveway?
So, back in time, in the same time frame as parkway, the driveway initially referred to the private road leading to the building, often on a farm or to a barn. It was a way for the vehicles like wagons at the time to drive into private property. Since with the rise of the cars, these driveways became convenient places to park a vehicle, hence the driveway name stuck.
The name stuck. That makes sense. Okay. So I think you're very well aware one of my favorite bands is Def Leppard.
Yes, I am.
They happen to be of the, British persuasion. But why don't British people sound British when they sing?
Huh. That's interesting. Okay, so British singers do often have a recognizable vocal traits, but several factors contribute to why it might seem they don't sound British in the way we'd expect.
Okay.
Vocal training and international influences. So many singers undergo formal voice training, which emphasizes clear diction and a standardized vocal technique. This can minimize the regional accents that they carry.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So popular music is heavily influenced by American genres like blues, jazz, and rock and roll. So British singers often adopt these styles, which can involve mimicking American vocal inflections.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense then. I get that. Okay. So next one then, why are you in a movie but on a TV? That always is just weird to me.
The distinction between in a movie and on TV reflects subtle differences in how we perceive these medias. So here's a breakdown on how that works out. Conceptual differences. Movie, quote unquote movie, is often seen as a self-contained singular work of art. We think the actors are as being within that contained narrative.
Okay.
So TV, on the other hand, is often viewed as a platform or a medium. We are on a platform or on, quote unquote, the screen.
Okay.
So the difference is between being in the work of art and being on the medium of transmission.
Okay. I guess I get that. Okay.
Whew, that was a lot.
That's a lot. I got a few more for you though.
Okay.
All right. Why are there no B batteries? There's A, there's double A, there's C, there's D. Why are there no Bs?
Well, there was.
There was.
Yeah. You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, so the absence of B batteries in modern consumer electronics is the result of historical standardization in technological evolution. Boy, I can't say that word. It's not some inherent flaw that we left out the B.
Okay.
But here's the deal.
All right.
Early battery development, in the early days, batteries were developed particularly for radios and other electronic devices. Batteries were often categorized alphabetically, A, B, C, etc.
Which makes sense.
To differentiate the voltage and the purpose.
Okay.
The A battery typically powered low voltage heaters and vacuums and things like that. The B provided higher voltage for the plate circuits and the vacuum tubes, etc.
Okay, so the A's and the B's are basically the same thing, but there's a little bit different voltage.
Right,
Okay.
and same with the C.
Okay.
Provided a smaller voltage for more grid-based vacuum tubes.
Gotcha.
So the technological shift, I cannot say that word, with the advent of transistors and integrated circuits, the vacuum tubes became obsolete.
Right.
So these new technologies required different voltage levels and power sources.
Okay.
As electronics became smaller and more efficient, the need for multiple battery types diminished. Standardized battery sizes became A, AA, AAA, C, and D.
Okay.
Focusing on the physical dimensions and the voltage output rather than the alphabetical designation.
Okay, that makes sense. Brian, heads up.
What?
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering, why do people actually say heads up when you should actually duck?
Misinterpretations. The phrase can be misinterpreted because of the literal meaning of heads.
Right.
People may instinctively look up, which could be dangerous in some situations. The phrase is meant to mean be aware of what is happening around you and react accordingly. So in short, heads up is a warning to be alert, and the appropriate response is to assess the situation and take action to protect yourself.
That makes sense. Okay. Why do fat chance and slim chance mean the same? because they're two totally separate words.
Well, the fact that fat chance and slim chance essentially convey the same meaning, despite fat and slim being opposite, is a fascinating quirk of English.
Yeah, so I shouldn't say never. I was obviously raised in an English environment, so I've never had to learn English, but I've heard English is probably one of the hardest languages to use.
I've heard that too.
I think it's because of situations like this.
Well, I don't know. You try to learn Mandarin?
I mean, not recently.
So slim chance, the literal meaning, slim chance is the relatively straightforward. Slim implies small, meager. So slim chance means the very small possibility. So it is more literal usage.
Okay.
And fat chance is where the confusion arises. It's almost always used sarcastically or ironically. So while fat typically means large, in this context, it signifies the opposite.
Okay.
So essentially, fat chance is used to express that is virtually no chance at all of, or often the tone of the disbelief or the mockery.
Okay.
It is used to emphasize that likelihood of something happening is very far from being large.
Okay.
Sarcasm plays a role in how fat chance is understood. So the phrase relies on the listeners recognizing the speaker's ironic intent.
Which makes sense because I would never say fat chance. It'd be fat chance.
Right. You'd never say it that way.
Right. Here's something I do all the time. So when the batteries on your remote start to go, you just press harder.
What do? You press harder.
I press harder, right? Because it's going to make it work. So what is that? So why do we press harder when we know the batteries are going, when we know they're weak?
Well, it's the placebo effect.
What's that?
Well, sometimes that means by pressing it harder, we think it's actually going to work better. And we want it to work, so we perceive it working better by pressing it harder. So sometimes the remote will work, and that leads to attributes to the fact that, increased pressure did work. And so you keep thinking it's going to work all the time. What actually helps is just change the batteries.
Right, which makes the most sense. See all the answers. Brian, you're my hero.
Oh, thanks, man. So are those really your pet peeves?
I mean, yes. Yes.
So
yes.
I got a few.
Okay.
So to me, these really are pet peeves.
Okay.
So what do you think about unsolicited advice?
Well, let me give you my opinion on that.
Yeah, well, you will.
It depends on the situation, but I could see where that could really grind on you if somebody's just telling you like they know better than you and here's what you're going to hear. And I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
It kind of is annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about slow internet?
Oh, it drives me nuts.
It does.
Yes. So we've gone through the internet rigmarole the last year and a half here. So forever, more than a couple years ago, we had the old DSL, which was horrible, and then we moved to cable, which was our only option at the time.
Yep.
And cable was fine, but cable went out a lot. They had a lot of downtime. Well, last year we finally got fiber put in our neighborhood, so sign up for fiber. Gig speeds up, gig speed down. It's phenomenal. Well, about 6 months into it, we'd be watching TV at night and literally our TVs would just stop. We just had nothing. And I was on the phone for, night after night after. This was weeks. We just couldn't get it figured out. And basically what it wound up being is you have to play the game of customer service phone roulette.
Yeah. I hate that.
I hate that. You have to call and get the right person. So I finally got
Talk about a pet peeve.
Yeah, right. That is a definite pet peeve. Finally got a hold of somebody and she was fantastic. Spent an hour and a half with us. We wound up being the cable we had.
Yeah.
Because we upgraded to 1 gig internet, we had a slow Ethernet cable. We had an
so it
older,
couldn't get through the
outdated
house.
cable. Well, no, but what's weird is it worked forever, and then all of a sudden it just decided that, I'm not going to work anymore. It wasn't fast enough to cover the speeds we needed. So something as simple as switching out the cable fixed it.
That's interesting because we have switched everything to streaming. So, but I still have cable coming in for internet, and I've had it for years. I'm a longtime customer, and like you said, fiber optics came into the neighborhood, and from them putting that in, I would lose connection quite often. But up until that point, I never would lose my cable, my internet access. And I've heard from other people who have the fiber, it'll go out once in a while, and it'll be hours. Well, we all know I work from home. I have no office to go to, so I can't take the chance to be down and not work.
Yeah.
So I'm I don't think I'm switching. I'm keeping cable because it's been flawless. It works.
But what's interesting is since we switched to fiber besides the fact that I had the issue, but it was my cable. It was my issue. It was not them. It was my issue. We've never been down for more than a couple minutes at a time. And we were down with cable a lot before we switched.
I wonder if it's more neighborhood.
We are on the other side of the highway.
Yeah.
So that could be it. Yeah, it could be.
And I'm on the other side of the tracks.
You're on the other side of the tracks. Yeah.
Just kidding.
There's that. Okay. All right. What other pet peeves do you have, my friend?
How about wearing sunglasses indoors?
Okay. Well, Brian, when you're cool, the sun shines on you 24
I hate that. Oh my gosh. Take the damn sunglasses off. Look at me in my eyes.
Yes, I get that.
Oh, so annoying.
I get that one.
How about having a work meeting just to schedule another work meeting?
So my wife's job, she's an executive admin for a president of a bank, and all she does is juggle calendars. Right? That's all she does all day. That's basically her job. Is she's the calendar fixer, and it's hearing her stories, it boggles me that people will just go on and just start scheduling things randomly left and right, like all day, and so that's her job is to go back and fix that.
Okay,
that's what she does. How
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you work in an office environment. I mean, how do you not look at a calendar you're trying to schedule and see that it's already filled up and you still schedule crap?
Well, I used to work at a large electronics company in the past, and you'd have a scheduled meeting, and everyone would show up except for maybe one person who had all of the data.
Yeah.
And so you'd spend the time waiting and doing a little chit chat, and then we would just schedule another meeting.
Right.
Well, what was the freaking point? Get your shit together.
Yes, I agree. I
got another one.
Okay.
How about the Oxford comma?
What the hell's an Oxford comma?
Okay, come on.
Oh, seriously, what's an Oxford comma?
So, if you're writing and you have a series of items you're talking about, and then you have to say and that last item, you put a comma before that and. That's the Oxford comma.
So something I should have learned back in 5th grade.
So it makes you pause, and it separates the two items from being together, because you can say salt and pepper. That's one thing. But if I'm bringing napkins, salt, and pepper, there's an Oxford comma there.
Gotcha. So I've been using it, just didn't know what I was using.
Yeah, I always use Oxford comma.
Okay.
And last but not least, how about wearing pants below your butt?
Okay, yeah, we're definitely too old to get that one. I've never understood it.
Well, I did look it up. It's called sagging,
Yes.
but I really didn't look into why.
Yeah.
But I just hate it.
And I don't blame you. Yes.
So anyway, I think that's my pet peeves.
All right. That was good.
So thanks for listening, everybody, to Airing of the Grievances podcast. If you have a pet peeve and you'd like us to cover it in a future episode, email us at ohandonemorethingpod@gmail.com, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at ohandonemorethingpod.
Like it. Oh, and one more thing. Today's podcast was slanted kind of negative, so take some time to do something good for someone today. It'll make both of your days brighter. See you next time.
Bye. Hey, let's go watch that contest episode.